The Cloth. This should have been called Touching Cloth. This is one terrible movie. Now, by the cover, it actually looks like it'll be kind of your straight sort of exorcism movie, but it's actually more along the lines of Men in Black. And basically, it follows this unlikable douchebag called Jason, who gets sort of inducted into this kind of religious version of the kind of the Men in Black, if that makes sense, called The Cloth. And they're basically here to sort of safeguard our world from the terrors of Luciferix and his lieutenant demons and such. And basically we have a kind of plan by obviously the underworld to bring forth the gates of hell and spew all the demons onto mankind. And it's up to this this young guy Jason and a kind of small team of religious agents basically to try and stop him. And that's what they kind of do. And really they kind of use a variety of like really badly CGI'd weapons to sort of try and defeat these sort of various different sort of types of demons who have these really bad CGI attachments and things like that. So let's kind of look at it piece by piece. So the production value on this film is very low. Now I will say this, it does try and do quite a lot. It's quite ambitious in what it's trying to achieve in regards to the kind of the scope of the thing, but it's so cheap. It's so cheap, and I'm not really one to kind of really rag on a film too much for the effects, because I really appreciate, you know, there's only a limit that you can possibly do with the kind of the money that you have, but it looks so bad sometimes. I mean, it really does. You'd say it looks like a video game graphics, but these days video game graphics look pretty decent. So we're talking video game graphics from 10 years ago, probably, or more than that. It's really, really jarring, and you know, even if they have these sort of graphics and stuff that doesn't need to, like the guns and things that kind of glow and have bits that sort of whirl around, and it just looks so obviously CGI. So the effects are rubbish. There are some sort of practical effects that aren't as bad. They're still pretty bad, but they're not as bad. The best effects you're going to see are probably the kind of the prologue, where actually features this kind of this little girl that you see in the front here. That's the best effects in the film, and really doesn't have a lot to do with the rest of the sort of the story, to be quite honest. So talk about the cast. Now it says here on the front, Danny Trejo and Eric Roberts, and even says Academy Award nominee Eric Roberts. Again, check this out for the acting. Let me tell you, these two guys are barely in it. Danny Trejo's in the prologue, and we see a sort of a flashback or two of him sort of later on, and Eric Roberts just pops up sort of periodically, and you kind of, you know he's going to be a bit of a dick. He's wearing sort of dark eye makeup. The rest of the cast, though, are all unknowns, and the acting is terrible, especially from the kind of the main guy, the protagonist, this Jason character. Such a bad acting. They've obviously just cast him with his kind of like, young, good-looking guy and everything, and sort of trying to appeal to that tween audience, perhaps. This is not a horror film. Let me get this straight. This is not a horror film. This is kind of, it's trying to be a cross between, let's say, Men in Black, but have these kind of weird sort of Twilighty tween elements in it as well. So the acting is rubbish, the special effects are rubbish, the direction is horrible, the camera work is too reliant on kind of quick cuts and sort of shaky cam. The audio is terrible. There's not a lot really here to kind of really sort of give it any type of sort of plus. I'd say the only plus point I would say is maybe the ambition of this film is far sort of exceeds any kind of talent that's sort of behind it. The actual story though is fairly sort of pedestrian, but it is, it needs to be a kind of effects heavy film like sort of Men in Black, like R.I.P.D., which is kind of I guess its nearest film, to be honest. But unfortunately this is way low budget. It's actually quite funny to watch. I will say this, it's one of these films where it's actually, you think, oh my god, this is really bad, and it just comes across as such a sort of, oh my god type of movie. But if you're going to watch it thinking it's going to be some kind of like cool horror film, because it does look on the cover to be quite funky, and the kind of the back may look quite good, it really isn't. So I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I will look forward to you next time. Bye for now.